Xfinity Internet members cut your
ball game
and Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock. We are on the beach. We got the band to the right. We got the food vendors to my left. Cat Country is giving away prizes and giveaways to my left as well. Alex Berard is back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. We are live on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out on the beach with you guys. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. Phillies, they are going for the series win this afternoon. We'll get you the Phillies lineup in just a bit. Plus, coming up on today's show, we got to talk Flyers this afternoon. Billy's going to like this. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we're going to talk with Jason Myrtetus. He's going to join us, talk some Flyers draft this weekend. You know, the Flyers drafted 2 defensemen, 2 goalies, and a guy that nobody's ever heard of. So we got to get some, because at the end of the day, listen, let's be realistic. Hockey is a sport where you don't see these guys for simply 3 to 5 years. So I'm not going to get too high or too low about any of these guys. But we got so much to get to as well on the show. State of the NBA offseason with New York Times bestselling author and athletic writer Mirin. She will join us coming up at 12:25 here on 97.3 ESPN. Plus, sorry, my bad. I got distracted there. Plus, we will be talking with the WWE is coming to Atlantic City tomorrow at Boardwalk Hall. It's a double showing of both SmackDown and Raw. And WWE superstar Royce will join me coming up at 1:25. So we got a lot going on today, as well as the text board is open at 609-403-09. I think one of your things, Billy, is over here. I think I put something on top of it so it wouldn't blow away. So check the suitcase. For those who don't know, if you're just tuning in right now on 97.3, if you're watching on the stream on YouTube and X, you will learn very quickly. Here's what happened today. We had the day of the days because when we got here, I think today was one of those days where I'm just grateful to be on the radio. I am. I'm so happy we actually got Billy on the radio. Everything worked out. Billy, don't forget your cards. Don't forget all your stuff. You know, you're good? All right, making sure Billy's good. Thanks, Billy. Oh, thanks, Billy. You're so sweet. Billy's going to listen to me on the radio on 97.3 ESPN. The Philly Fanatic's going to be here soon. He'll be here for people to take pictures. People actually take pictures with the big cat country bear to my or is that a cat? Yeah, the Fanatic's somewhere. So, he's right up there. Okay, well, the Fanatic's here as well. But speaking of the Phillies, what a bizarro loss last night for the Phils. And we can get into it on the text board at 609-403-0973. What a bizarro loss by the Phillies. I mean, I am just so perplexed about what exactly this Phillies team is doing sometimes, because you had that amazing series against the Nationals, right? Where there's all those come from behind victories. And then just out of the blue, the last 2 days, you scored 4 total runs. How does that even happen? It's absolutely maddening to me. And I always go back to this. If you're the Phillies and you're a team that's got all these highly paid players, Harper, Turner, Schwarber, Real Muto is way overpaid. Let's get into that as well. I complained about it yesterday. I'll complain about it today. I don't need you to score a gazillion runs every game. But when you're going against average pitchers, I expect you to score more. I expect you to do more. And so for the Phillies, I don't understand how on earth they have gotten to this point that they are at. And they don't have a little bit more, I'll call it professional pride. Have a little bit more, hey, we want more from ourselves. We want more from our team. And I think that's what angers me the most of anything. And that is, maybe not anger. I don't get angry about it. I just get annoyed and frustrated. But, last night when Trey Turner had that one strikeout where he just swings at a Frisbee halfway across the plate, and it's obviously a ball. Everyone and their cousin can see it's not going to be a strike, but he swings at it. Those are the moments where I'm like, does this team actually, want to win tonight? Now, listen, I know it's not everyone, okay? I genuinely do believe that guys like Harper and Schwarber and these guys are gamers, right? And Alan Reinel, Angel, that deserves a ton of credit. That dude has been thrown into an impossible situation and has made the best of things. And frankly, for 2 innings, he was amazing. It's not his fault that everything didn't break his way. So for the Phillies, as a fan, you want to see more from them. You want to see a little more juice from the team. And watching Trey Turner continuing to struggle, and the fact that the Phillies won't even consider the idea of him being benched. It's absolutely maddening to me. And I will never understand why these teams do what they do. I will never understand the purpose that you have to, like 2 years ago. Remember the whole fiasco with when Nick Castellanos was playing poorly? And Castellanos then goes out there and he's like, I want to play all 162 games. And they kept playing him, even though he was not good. Now Trey Turner. Oh, we haven't thought about benching him. We'll get him a day off to get him off his feet, says Rob Mattingly. Sorry, says Don Mattingly. Rob Thompson said before that we want to get Nick Castellanos every game to start. Why? What is the purpose of playing these guys? Do you really think that playing them through their struggles is going to fix all? You were willing to bench Alec Boehm. Why aren't you willing to bench Trey Turner? You almost fabricated an injury for Brandon Marsh to go to the minors, and he's having an amazing year this year. Don't tell me that a Trey Turner wouldn't benefit from a few days off. Remember when Charlie Manuel, and this has been brought by other people, Charlie Manuel did it to Jimmy Rollins years ago. You just go all the way back, what was that, 2006, 2007? He took Jimmy and benched him, and Jimmy was infamously, or famously, depending on who you ask, was eating garlic fries next to the batting cage because Charlie Manuel told him, don't swing a bat, don't even touch a bat. So he would go to the batting cage, he would just eat fries. But the point is that those things worked. What is the purpose? What is the reason for why you can't give this guy more opportunities to just get a rest, take a break, sit down, relax? I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand the purpose of it. I don't understand why the Phillies are doing this. And listen, maybe I'm the only one who's frustrated. You guys can let me know, 609-403-0973. Because as we talked about yesterday here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, I talked about yesterday how the Phillies have a lot of needs. They have a lot of problems, right? And I just look at the Phillies and I say, you're a team that's got a lot of issues. I don't need my $300 million shortstop to be one of them. That's my thing. Bryce Harper's doing the best he can. I'm not mad at him for missing that one ball on the near the first baseline. It happens. Okay, guys miss a ball here and there. It happens. What bothers me is when you have a guy who looks like he's not even focused, like he's not even trying, like his brain is not in the game. That's what drives me nuts. And I'm just perplexed about exactly what the purpose of some of this stuff is, right? What is the reason for why this happens? And so, to me, I look at it like this. The answer needs to be Trey Turner needs to sit a couple days, number one. Number two, the Phillies might not be able to survive until the trade deadline on August 3rd with this, whatever this bullpen is supposed to be. They need another bullpen arm. And I'm watching the Red Sox-Yankees game yesterday afternoon. You heard here on 97.3 ESPN. And for whatever reason, all I could think about when Aroldis Chapman came into the game was he looked really good in the Phillies uniform right now. I'm just saying, he would look great in the Phillies uniform. I would love to see a scenario. I know he's not going to be cheap. I know he's not going to be an inexpensive option, but I would just love to see him in the Phillies uniform. I think he would be absolutely great for this bullpen. They needed one more bat as well. Now, I've heard Ruben Amaro Jr. say that the priority needs to be, for example, the pitching. I think we all can debate what the priority needs to be. But obviously the Phillies need multiple needs. Can they address them all? Probably not. But I would like to see them address some of the needs. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Ray in EHC chimes in and says, hey, Josh, I know we've been talking about this for several weeks now, and every time I text in about Trey Turner, I say I don't care how much money the man makes. If he has to sit down, he has to sit down. If they need Bryce Harper in left field, he needs to go to left field. I don't care how much he gets paid. Listen, Ray in EHC, you're 100% right. We got to get over this whole idea of he's making a lot of money. Well, he's not earning it. He's batting almost 100 points less than he was last year. So Ray in EHC is 100% right. He goes on to say, Trey had a couple of good games, and now he's back to the errors and the bad hitting. I think you need to sit him down. Two, I personally agree that with a sit down 2 or 3 games, see what happens. I like that the part of the end. See what happens. What is the harm in benching him for a day or two? What is the harm in going to Trey Turner and saying, Trey, we love you, but you need to sit for a couple days? What is the harm in doing that? I don't know what the harm is. I don't see what the harm is. Ready? You see, the only problem with the Harper thing is that I think the Phillies, and Dave Dombrowski talked about this the other day, the Phillies seem dead set on keeping Harper at first base. Harper has volunteered himself to play other positions. But, Dave Dombrowski, he spoke to the media recently, and this is what he said about Harper and the idea of, him not being at first base.
I don't think so. I mean, we haven't talked to him about it. I know he's always been very open-minded to try to help the organization however he can. We haven't talked to him, and I really don't contemplate, because I really like the way he goes about his business at first base. One thing we wouldn't do is keep going back and forth if we ever did that. I mean, I look at him as being a first baseman.
So basically, Dombrowski is saying we haven't considered it, we haven't talked about it, we're not interested in it. Now, is that fair? Probably not. Is that realistic? Yeah, because the Phillies have consistently taken this position that Harper is going to be at first base to the detriment of the team, to the detriment of the roster. Harper is the one who came out himself and said, when Pete Alonso was available 2 years ago, I want Pete Alonso, I'll move to the outfield. Well, the Phillies weren't interested. Can you imagine how much better this lineup would be if Pete Alonso was in it? I would personally love that, honestly. 609-403-0973 is the text board. Steven EHT chimes in and says, Harper's last in defensive run saved at -10. Oh, sorry, it's actually seven prevented. Okay, you're giving me analytics, Steve. I can't work with that. I don't need you to give me analytics for you to tell me that Harper's not a great first baseman defensively. I got eyeballs. I can see with my own two eyes that Harper is not a great defensive first baseman. Now, is he better than when he first started? Absolutely. But I don't know if he's the worst defensive first. The problem with analytics is this, and this is, man, we are going to go on a rabbit trail here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock. Come on down, hang out with the party. The world's largest beach party is going on now here on the beach in Margate. I got the folks from Cat Country over here, Rich and Madison. They're giving away prizes. So you come down, meet the Philly fanatic. We have a food and beer garden to my left. We got a band to my right. We got all kinds of stuff going on down here at Margate Beachstock. Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live on the beach here on 97.3 ESPN. But here's the problem with analytics. Analytics don't tell you the whole story. Analytics tell you the part of the story that you want to hear. Analytics don't tell you the big picture. For example, defensive runs saved. What's more important, defensive runs saved or errors? We can have that debate. Are we giving out enough errors? We can have that debate. I don't need these stats to tell me that Bryce Harper is an average to below average first baseman defensively. Now, again, he is way better today than he was years ago. It doesn't change the reality that he's really not that good. Is he serviceable? Yes. Is he better than Alec Boehm? Yep. Frankly, what the Phillies should have done years ago is gone to JT Realmuto, asked him to go to first base, moved Harper into DH, and done something like that. But again, hindsight being 2020. The other thing that Steven EHT chimed in about was about Alan Hongel. He says, Hongel was great last night. He was dinked to dunk to death, and unfortunately, Rinconez and Harper's terrible defense. Rinconez, I'm done with Rinconez. Like, Rinconez was a nice story when he first came up. The guy's got, 3 hits his entire MLB tenure? Alex, back in the studio, if you can check that for me. Does Rinconez have, 4 hits as a major leaguer? Like, I don't think he's had that many hits. Stephen A. goes on to say, Hoskins was a terrible first baseman. He looked like a gold glove. That's a little unfair. Hoskins was really bad. Remember he had those games in the postseason in 2022 where he was an abomination at first base. I think we're so quick to forget how bad Hoskins was at first base because Harper is not what we want him to be. Harper should be a better first baseman. He's athletic enough. He's got a high enough baseball IQ that his ability should be closer to, let's say, I don't know. I mean, Harper should be, I want to say Freddie Freeman. That's way too good. But, my mind always goes back to, the Phillies, remember they went from Rico Bronya, the Travis Lee, the Jim Thome, before they got to Ryan Howard. And all those guys were never, the greatest defensive first base of all time, but they were competent. They were solid. They were good players. Harper seems like he just doesn't have the hand-eye coordination to catch some of those ground balls. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but Stephen H.C., I agree with you, but I think we're on a little bit of a different wavelength. More text coming in, 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig will be back on the road this Friday for a special edition. It's a merging of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. Mike Gill is taking a personal day, and I'll be filling in from 2 to 5 p.m., broadcasting live from Boulevard Super Liquors, hanging with Hennig back at Boulevard Super Liquors this Friday, giving away a Devontae Smith signed helmet, as well as other prizes and giveaways from Holiday Coffee, Salento, Tequila, Douglas Candies, and much, much more. But you must stop by this Friday at Boulevard Super Liquors, the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits at the Jersey Shore, right on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. Coming up on the other side, how has the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade changed the NBA offseason? We'll ask New York Times bestselling author Mirin Fader coming up on the other side here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like customer service associate at a dry cleaning shop.
Yeah, hi. I'm here to pick up my suit.
Ah, yes. Here you go.
There must be a mistake. This is too small.
It shrunk a whole lot. Look on the bright side. Now you have a suit you can give to a child.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
The times you spend with your friends and loved ones are the best. Those selfies you take now will shape memories that will last a lifetime. Make sure you stay in the picture and stay away from fentanyl. Only 2 milligrams of fentanyl can cause an overdose. So learn about the dangers and risks of this frightening, deadly drug at stayinthepic.nj.gov. Don't risk your life and all those wonderful memories you're creating. Stay in the picture and stay away from fentanyl. Know all the risks. Visit stayinthepic.nj.gov. From New Jersey Human Services.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GO to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GO to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GO to borrow up to $10,000.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attila's Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attila's Gyms today.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock. Yes, we're right here on the beach for the planet's biggest beach party. I got the bands playing about 50 yards from my right. I got Cat Country giving away prizes. To my left, the Philly Fanatic is here to say hi to fans, take pictures. I think I saw Miss New Jersey walk by earlier, but I can't verify if that was her or not because, frankly, I don't really follow beauty pageant stuff, but she had a crown on, so I'm assuming it was. Back to the sports on the text board, 609-403-0973. Just a bit, but right now, as promised, joining us on the phone line. The NBA offseason is in full swing. What is the impact of the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade from Milwaukee? Frankly, I wasn't sure if he would ever be traded from Milwaukee a few years ago to the Miami Heat, but joining us right now is New York Times bestselling author of the book Giannis, as well as the biography of Hakeem Olajuwon, Dream. Mirin Fader is back with us here on 97.3 ESPN. Mirin, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you jumping on today. And I wanted to start with this with you, and that is, when you were writing about Giannis ago and you put on all that legwork, did you ever think that today would be in a different uniform?
No, and I mean, that was the central tension of the book and of the last 6-7 years for people from Milwaukee. It was always national media coming in and saying, when will he leave? When will he leave? And so it was just this point of pride that he never did. And it was always, oh, that's the national media trying to stir up drama. He'll never leave. And so I think it's so shocking that it finally happened.
How much of him moving on do you think is something that he actually wanted? And how much of it do you think it was almost like he felt like, because you're someone who covers a lot of athletes. You talk to these guys and not every athlete wants to be traded. Not every athlete, did you ever get a vibe that he actually wanted this, or was he resigned to it, do you think?
I mean, at the time that I was, reporting this book, I never got that sense. But, there was a really, really great article a couple days ago in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel by Jim Masharsky, and you essentially got the vibe he did want to be traded. And nobody, not one person was at fault. Everyone was at fault, including himself. That's what I thought one of the article's biggest strengths was. And so I actually think it was something that he definitely wanted. It's just over the years, that was not something that he originally wanted. I think it just shows how, the Bucks went from an organization that really cared about hustle and, values like everyone playing their hardest and everyone being on the same page. And it was a really, mom and pop shop where everybody was, locked in, to an organization that traded, its cornerstones in Drew Holiday and, its ethos of defense. And so because of all of those things, he was just like, I don't want to be here anymore.
You just talked about how the organization's evolved. One thing you document in your book, Giannis, which I highly recommend anyone read if they haven't read it yet. You document how the ownership changes impacted Giannis's time in Milwaukee. When he first got there, it was a completely different ownership to what it is now. How much do you think that is maybe not just an impact on Giannis, maybe the organization as a whole, and that, you just said players, it used to be one vibe, one energy around the organization, and now it seems completely different.
Yeah, I mean, you take his experiences, which, in the dog days early on with him and Chris Middleton, when they won like 15 games, there was a focus on attention to detail and players and everybody getting better to an organization that actually did achieve the pinnacle of success, and then maybe got a little too happy, maybe stopped relying on values that got them there. I think that Giannis is in a weird place in that he is not somebody that wanted to affect coaching changes and make big proclamations. He's not the star that will go to social media and say, trade me, or this coach needs to be fired. But there were things going on behind the scenes, according to that Milwaukee Journal Sentinel article, that showed that, yes, like the ownership, all of those things have an impact. And he is not somebody that actually is quiet in those conversations. He actually was and wanted to be part of them.
Mirin Fader joining us here on 97.3 ESPN Radio Athletic. Of course, you can check out both of her New York Times best-selling books, Giannis, about Giannis Antetokounmpo's rise to becoming basically a future Hall of Famer. We can just call it what it is. And then also, we're looking for a summer beach reading material. Her book, Dream, about Hakeem Olajuwon, an incredible book about his whole journey from where he started, basically not even playing basketball. Mirin, can I ask you a really question real quick? Not literally John Giannis, but thinking about some of the athletes you have covered, not just in the books you've written, but the articles you've written, it feels like so many of them did not play sport they went pro in early on in their career. How wild is it for you as someone who's covering these athletes to be writing about hey, they didn't play basketball or football as their first sport?
Yeah, that's such a good point. It kind of gives me, honestly, perspective on how much the eye test fails and how we say all these things like, oh, they need to be playing this young and they need to be this tall and they need to go to this AAU team. It's all BS because actually, people that, play other sports tend to be more successful. So I just think the formula needs readjusting. Honestly, a lot of these people, when they say they're too late, I think, well, they're right on time. I mean, Joel Embiid, 17, Hakeem, 17, Giannis, 13. Really, and then when they do succeed in the NBA, all these analysts who were freaking out that they started too late are praising their footwork or their agility or their endurance. And it's like, yeah, but all those things came from all these other sports. So we really need to rethink what ideal training looks like for the path to an NBA superstar.
It's so true because I remember, when I was younger, when I played youth sports, it was you played a sport every season. There was no dedicating yourself to one sport. It was, okay, in the fall it was either football or soccer, and the winter it was either basketball or hockey or indoor track, and then in the spring it would be, okay, well, you can do outdoor track or baseball, so or right? So it would be something where you had to play a different sport. And now there's kids who are like, it's basketball or football or baseball almost basically year round. And Giannis and Hakeem and Embiid you mentioned and others, they're amazing examples of they wouldn't have these unique intrinsic qualities if they didn't play other sports and do other activities when they were younger.
Yeah, because it's not really about the sport. It's about the intrinsic competitiveness. Like, why does somebody like Giannis continue to push himself? Well, it's because he has this inner drive. That could be also applied to math or science or anything else he wanted to do with his life or tech, but he applied it to basketball. So, yeah, I think a lot of these people, their character and their discipline and their but it's not the only thing that it can be used for. And draft time is always fun for me because I try to do a story or two, but I'm always amazed at like the certainty that analysts have. Oh, this person is going to be this person is going to be that. If Giannis's early, draft picks in the New York Times story that was on him, it certainly was not anything like what he became, and I think it's just healthy to keep skepticism and uncertainty and doubt in mind, and because not everybody does turn into the superstar you think, and then some people who you don't expect do. So the way that we talk about these athletes and the way that we analyze them, I think some humility would go a long way.
I think a healthy dose of humility would go along with for a lot of people. That's a different conversation. Mirin Fader from The Athletic joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. You mentioned about Giannis's competitive nature. I think that's part of the reason why him going to the Miami Heat is so fascinating. And to me, it completely changes the topography of the NBA offseason, because you're taking a player who is an ultimate competitor. He didn't grow up in the AAU friends hanging out environment. And now he's taking that, let's be realistic. On the court, he's a ferocious competitor. He's taken that to an organization that literally it's all about competition.
Yeah, can you imagine the conversations between Giannis and Pat Riley? I'd kill to be in those rooms. I'd kill to hear about, Pat Riley sharing tea from Showtime that nobody knows and things that will, inspire Giannis. One of the things he wanted to be around people like that. That is going to make him better, but he wants to win, right? So I think we need to also think about, well, who's around him? Obviously, Bam Adebayo is insanely competitive as well, and they know each other. They share an agent, but I am curious what the rest of the makeup will look like and sort of how that's going to work, because I hope he's not going to run into the same problems of, yes, I am competitive, but it takes more than one person to win.
Speaking of more than one person to win, I thought the other part of it was them not trading Giannis by himself to the Miami Heat. That's an interesting wrinkle. I think a lot of people were so focused on just Giannis being traded, but now we're seeing Giannis plus a player, right? We saw with the LaMelo Ball trade, LaMelo Ball plus a player. So we're seeing more and more that while we're all talking, whether it's us and the media, the fans out there about these trades, it's more than just the one guy who's getting moved in these situations.
Yeah, it's a huge blow up, and you never quite know how it's all going to work out until, the ball is thrown out and you see how 5 people figure it out. But I think the NBA is just going through such a transformation in so many different ways. And this move is still so shocking, whether he goes with one player, 2 player, no players. It's I don't know. I wouldn't say it feels wrong, like him being in another jersey, and I wonder if this is too far, but when I saw Hakeem in the purple Toronto jersey, I was like, what? It's kind of how I feel with Giannis in red. It's wait, what? I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me, at least.
I think that's the other problem, and that you mentioned how where Olajuwon ended his career, right? It's also the fact that you see Giannis in a Miami Heat jersey. You see LeBron now in 3 different jerseys. It's I hate to get off my lawn, but there's a part of it that's there's a part of you that the athlete connects with the city and the uniform and the championship is so much that when they're not in a uniform anymore, it's disorienting as a sports fan.
Yeah, it's also a very particular circumstance with Giannis in Milwaukee because it's a small market. They got to know him on a personal level, very personal, I need a ride to the arena, personal level, there's never been anything like it in this era. And I think they watched him grow up quite literally, and they watched him not just grow up, but grow a family, and his family grow up as well, his siblings. So I think it's very painful for people to see him leave because they feel like he was theirs. And I know that's such a weird thing to say, but it's, you get attached, you get emotionally attached. It's more than parasocial. It's a very unique thing that I don't think will ever happen again in modern NBA. You will never have a GM, teaching your rookie how to drive. as Giannis did with the GM at the time. These are things that just don't happen in the modern NBA. And so, when he left, it's like, those are the things that people are thinking about. I saw a lot of tweets of like parents sitting their young kids down who won't understand about, what happened and trying to explain it to a 3-year-old. And like, that is really hard. It's really hard not to be your, but and I cried. And I don't, that's sports. And I think shame on people who are mocking Milwaukee fans who are grieving this loss, because it is grief and it is a loss, and they're allowed to be sad. They're allowed to be sad.
Well, it's just ironic because, Milwaukee fans are crying. Philadelphia fans, when they let Brian Dawkins go, they were trying to storm the gates. So it just shows you, there's different extremes, same emotional response. Right? The same emotional response is, that's our guy that you let leave.
Yeah, I mean, why do we watch sports? Because we care about the people that are on the floor. We think we know them. But it's also a healthy reminder you don't know them. A lot of people had no idea what was going behind the scenes with the Bucks and, the frustration brewing. And that happened also.
She's Mirin Fader. Check out all of her coverage in The Athletic. And, of course, her 2 New York Times best-selling books, Giannis, about Giannis Antetokounmpo's rise to becoming a future NBA Hall of Famer, as well as her book about Hakeem Olajuwon. Mirin, appreciate it. Make the time. Take you up to your work.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Josh Hennig over here at Margate Beachstock here on 97.3 and FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank. See how streaming live on YouTube next, where you will see my next guest joining me all over on the table here. Full disclosure, because we had to move Beachstock from Saturday to Sunday. I don't even know what's going on half of today. So thank you, Mayor Collins, for joining me. How you doing today?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. First of all, the fact that everyone has found a way to make what was supposed to be Saturday into Sunday work. A lot of people deserve credit for making that flip the way they have.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got really lucky. All of our vendors, or at least the majority of them, were able to retain for Sunday. And as you can see, the crowd is here. The people are here. They're still coming down. They're walking down as we speak. And we got the Fanatic here, and I think everybody's ready for a fun day.
Fanatic is here. We'll take a picture with the Fanatic. I see the Lombardi trophies over there. We got the Cat Country Cat people take a picture with. And now, correct me, is it Miss New Jersey is here?
Yes, Miss New Jersey will be here. And a lot of fun activities. We got the Ben Gravy Surf Competition. We got a cornhole tournament. The band's playing all day.
What's your favorite thing about today?
Well, so for years, I've been doing the cornhole tournament. So I brought cornhole to Beachstock a number of years ago. We ended up forming a league on Monday nights throughout the year at our local bars and restaurants, and it's kind of blown up in Margate. And the tournament's a great event. We got locals that like to battle it out, and then there's a lot of people from out of town that come in and try their luck as well.
Now, how good are you at cornhole?
So I'm pretty good. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I've gotten better over the years from playing in the league, and I have a couple top 4 finishes in our league, but never have gotten that number 1 spot. So,
so you're a what is that term? You're the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I wasn't gonna call you Greg Norman. I was gonna do that to you. Right?
I appreciate that.
Margate City Mayor Mike Collins is joining me here as we are live at Margate Beachstock, the planet's biggest beach party. And again, don't forget about the all the food and vendors over here to my left as well. I mean, we're literally right here off of Huntington Avenue. You can't miss it. I mean, you literally just walk. Well, my favorite part was when I first got here, people were saying, "Where do I go?" I say, "Just follow the blue road."
Right. Yeah. Follow them. These mats, they're great. Everybody loves them. But it just opens up into this whole thing and the whole beach. I mean, there's activities all over. So
when you think about, you mentioned about how you brought cornhole to some of this, thinking about the growth of this event over the years, is there a part of you that kind of just maybe looks around sometimes and just smiles and says, it's really cool how much this has grown?
Yeah, I think, what's unique about Margate is that, we're a small town, really close community, and we put on these great events, and every year we make them better. The success of the events has allowed other people to see that and want to be a part of it. And, people just want to be here, whether it be Beachstock Fun Fest, we definitely fill the town on these days.
You mentioned about filling the town. One of my favorite things about Margate, just in general, right, is the fact that there's so many people who talk about Margate who don't live here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a huge number of people who come to the island, right? They live, in Atlantic County or Cape May County or wherever, but they will go out of their way because Margate or a town like Margate is their favorite shore town.
Yeah, I think obviously I'm a little biased,
Naturally.
having lived here most of my life, and I think whether it be the restaurants, whether it be our beaches, whether it be just everything about the community, I think it's just special. And as you said, everybody, whether you've visited here, live here full time, live here in the summers, you've definitely spent some time here or have friends that have, and it draws you back every time.
Thinking about the summer so far, obviously it was a nutty start to the summer because Memorial Day weekend was basically a rain out for a lot of us. So it really does feel like, the summer season, it didn't have its usual launch for people who live down here, for those of us who live down here. So it does feel like Beachstock is kind of in some ways a bit of an extra launch for summer, right?
Yeah, I think, as you said, Memorial Day usually kicks things off, and then we do get that lull in early June, and it picks up, around now into July 4th. But as you said, the weather, May was it was a quiet month all around town, and June has picked up, and this weather is great, and I hope it continues. So that I know we got a heat wave coming up, so I'm sure these beaches are going to be packed for the next couple of weeks as well.
I'll say heat wave just in time for July 4th. Right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. Hopefully the ocean warms up a little bit for us.
Now, for you, looking around at an event like today, obviously it's a busy summer for as well as Margate. So what other events you guys got coming up you want to highlight this summer?
Yeah, so I think this kind of kicks things off for us, and we always end the season with Fun Fest. But in between, we have our Duck Derby. We have a lot of little local events that are not done by the city, but our 4th of July fireworks. I'd say have to be one of the best around, and that's always a huge draw. So we're excited for what's to come, and again, we hope the weather cooperates throughout so that we all get to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, Mayor Collins, I appreciate you stopping.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's good seeing you, and again, we had to push it back one day, but I think it worked out. It worked out for everybody.
I think it was a good decision, and I think everybody's happy. So
it was definitely the right decision. Listen, I had people texting me yesterday on the show, and they were like, "You should be at the beach. There's no," and literally an hour later, it's downpour.
Yeah.
So I was like, just wait for it. Okay, it's coming.
Yeah, the idea behind today is be here all day, so you don't have to leave. There's so much all through the night through 10 o'clock, so you don't want to have to leave the beach for a quick rain and come back. So it was a good decision, and we're happy.
Exactly. Well, Mayor Collins, appreciate you jumping on. I'll let you go out and enjoy the rest of this day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock, as well as the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Hey, don't forget, Hanging with Hennig is being brought to you by my friends over at the law offices of Craig A. Altman. And listen, it's a busy summer season, right? And I see car accidents everywhere I go. So if you're an unfortunate victim of a car accident, you need to call the law offices of Craig A. Altman at 856-327-8899. Car accidents, slip and fall, workplace injury. Don't go with a lawyer that you see on TV who has all the money to spend, but they're not the ones helping you. They're going to give it out to somebody else. They're going to hand the job off to somebody else. Get the law offices of Craig A. Altman, located in Vineland. They serve all of South Jersey. They are here to help you with the tough cases. They're the tough lawyers. They take on the insurance companies. The insurance companies, they have a game plan. What is your game plan? The insurance companies, they are not in it to take care of you. Get someone on your side when the worst case scenario happens to you. Car accident, slip and fall, workplace injury. The law offices of Craig A. Altman want to give you a free consultation. CraigAltmanLaw.com. Go on the website, get a free consultation, and guess what? You don't pay anything unless they win your case. CraigAltmanLaw.com. Proud sponsors of Philadelphia sports coverage here on 97.3 ESPN and proud sponsors of Hanging with Hennig. Coming up, we will wrap up the first hour of the show here on 97.3 ESPN.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, baseball's fiercest rivalry is back.
Third home run of the inning. 5-0 Yankees. Ben Rice.
The AL East leading New York Yankees are in Boston to face the Red Sox.
Driven to right field, looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Wilson Contreras.
The Yankees at the Red Sox. Coverage begins today at 6:30 Eastern.
Listen to Sunday Night Baseball tonight on 97.3 ESPN.
From summer parties to beach days to dinners at your favorite BYOB restaurant, the one stop where I go for every occasion is Boulevard Super Liquors. Located on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, just minutes from Garden State Parkway X25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors as you travel to your destination. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is the best at the Jersey Shore. Visit them on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about upcoming tasting events. And don't miss your chance to win a signed Devontae Smith helmet and special prize packages when Hang with Hennig broadcasts live on Friday, July 3rd at Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. The best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Go for the fun times and the tan lines. Experience an Atlantic City you never knew. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attilis Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attilis Gyms today.
Future you wants to have fun on the 4th. So get set in one stop at Target's 4th of July sale. Get 40% off women's dresses, skirts, and shorts. And for the kiddos, shorts are 20% off. What's a celebration without something tasty? Frozen treats are BOGO 25% off. Plus, you save 30% on soda 12 packs when you buy 3. Have fun all weekend long. Shop Target's 4th of July sale. And Saturday, restrictions apply.
Town Square Media has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible offers from some fantastic local businesses. Get this great deal right now. Get one $50 gift card for just $25 for Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant, a Wildwood dining tradition since 1956. Your entire family will be swept away to the tropics at this affordable family dining destination. A $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal right now at seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com. Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I stood right there not too long ago, and I told the entire world, I said, call me what you want. Yeah.
and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And there's nothing you can do about it, and that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Streaming live on YouTube and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig, special Sunday edition on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up in about a few minutes from now, we will be joined by Jason Myrtetus, who will be getting into more about the Flyers and their draft over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Jeff at Summers Point chimes in. He says, love hearing Hanging with Hennig on a Sunday. Go Phils. Is it too early to crack a cold one? Jeff at Summers Point, it is never too early to crack a cold one. Stephen HC chimes in on the text board. He says, defensive run saves are way more important than errors. Nick Castellanos had 0 errors for 2 years and was the worst outfielder in MLB in terms of run save. Yeah, I'm not saying that the stats are useless, Stephen HC. I just feel like, Castellanos is a perfect example. I don't need a stat to tell me he's a bad outfielder. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need a stat to tell me that it helps, right? It helped with ammunition. Maybe can we call it that? Can we call it ammunition when it comes to these guys and they're needing to be explained that they're not good at what they're doing? It is really bad. It's really pathetic that we live in a world where I have to tell you you're not good at your job. By the way, shout out to Alex. He got me this stat earlier. Alex Berard is doing yeoman's work back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. What's up, man? How you doing? What's up? It was funny because we actually did get the stat right. It is only 4 runs for Rincones. Rincones only had 4 hits his entire tenure. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Josh, he actually has like a 114 batting average with 1 home run, 3 RBIs,
that makes it
and
worse.
4 hits on the year.
See, stats, what they do is they amplify. They either make you sound better or worse than you really are. That's what happens. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk Flyers offseason. Jason Myrtetus from the Flyers Radio Network will join us to get more into that. Plus, more your texts on the other side, 609-403-0973. We are live on YouTube next from Margate Beachstock, the planet's biggest beach party. We got bands, we got food and drink vendors. We got all kinds of stuff going on, and we're just waiting for you to come out and join us on a beautiful day here in Margate. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
Your daily dose of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill just got bigger, better, and completely visual. Catch the Sports Bash with Mike Gill streaming live daily on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Get the real-time takes, the best guest insiders, and join the conversation in the live chat. Don't miss a single show. Head over to YouTube right now. Search 97.3 ESPN. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and watch the Sports Bash live.
Listen up. The soap you shower with? It's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Celebrate 4th of July savings happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Get a Whirlpool fridge with easy reach zone to keep tall items organized and accessible. And upgrade to a washer-dryer tower with UV clean technology to reduce bacteria in the wash without fading fabrics. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th to July 8th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
If someone is in crisis and at risk of hurting themselves or others, an extreme risk protective order, ERPO, can temporarily restrict their access to firearms, giving them time to get help. In New Jersey, family, household members, and law enforcement can petition the court to issue an ERPO. An ERPO isn't permanent, and it isn't a punishment, but it is a proven life-saving tool. Give them tomorrow and learn about ERPO today at erpo.nj.gov. erpo.nj.gov.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attila's Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attila's Gyms today.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig back here, hour 2, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock. I mean, it is just a ton of people down here now. You know, when I first got here around 9 o'clock this morning, it was cloudy, and I was like, it's whatever. Now there's like a bazillion people here. And the best part is nobody cares that I'm sitting here talking on the radio, except for all of you listening. No, I'm just kidding. I had Justin from Galloway stop by just a few minutes ago, as well as others. But we got to get some Flyers talk right now. A man who was actually just up the road recently in the Atlantic City for the Flyers draft. We'll talk more about it now. The Flyers offseason, what can we expect moving forward? Flyers Radio Network host, the one and only Jason Myrtetus. He joins me right now here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. There we go. Jason, how you doing today?
What's going on, Josh? Just down there, yeah. The sea, the salt air smelled good, very healing to me. It was awesome to be down there again for the draft. And like everything kind of, sometimes in life, like you have this, to use a big word of the show, confluence of events that all come together from a timing perspective beautifully. So I came down Friday for the draft at the Hard Rock, where the Flyers draft headquarters is. We did our streams and stuff from there. And of course, the entire first round, which was kind of a snooze fest. But, and then Saturdays, the second round and on. And then Saturday night, my father-in-law had bought tickets for me and my brother-in-law to go with him to see Joe Bonamassa at Oceans. And it happened to be that the show was last night when I was already in Atlantic City. And it happened to be a weekend when my wife had booked a house for my daughter's birthday that she does every year in Atlantic City to celebrate her 15th birthday. So everything came together. It was beautiful. It was awesome to be on the beach with the power boats and everything. And if I'd have known you were on the beach today, I'd just would have stayed down and just come to the beach and hung out.
Well, we were actually supposed to be here yesterday, but then the weather pushed it to today. So it's been a nutty weekend for everybody. But I'll use the word simpatico as what happened for you. How about that?
Yeah, except for when I was pulling into the self parking lot and I ran over not a screw, not a nail, but a bolt.
Ooh.
It didn't even have a pointy tip, and it took my front right tire out, and we had to get a change of tire yesterday, but that gave me a chance to walk down to where my dad grew up on Texas Avenue and scout out the location again.
Love it. Well, Jason, let's get to the Flyers offseason, because I think a lot of people are we probably have the most number of people engaged in a Flyers offseason probably in what, like 7-8 years at this point. And it all started with the draft this weekend. And I think a lot of people, I know you can't read too much into the draft because a lot of these guys are 3 to 5 years away. But before I ask you about anything specifically, was there anything that surprised you or stood out to you about the Flyers draft weekend? Because they did make a good amount of trades.
Well, leading into it, you had a couple of trades, obviously, the deal that sent Emil Andre and Ersson to Toronto. Now Ersson on to Ottawa. We hope the best for Sam, gets an opportunity there in the NHL again. And they land Joseph Wall and Simon Benoit. So, pretty significant 2-for-2 deal. 2 guys that were on the Flyers last year and contributed, to them making the playoffs at the end. And Andre and Sam Ersson down the stretch was really good, although very inconsistent his entire tenure here as a Flyer. And I think they upgrade that spot with Joseph Wall in a big way. And then Wall bring, some stability in depth defensively. And then you see the move of Garnet Hathaway, which you look at, he goes, he had a goal and 2 assists last year, kind of a nothing burger move, but it opens up a spot. It opens up a spot for one of those young guys to come in, whether that's, a guy like Bump or Grabenkin, and a veteran moves on and kind of goes back to where he grew up, and because Garnet Hathaway is from Naples, Florida, and he goes down and joins a team that obviously has a chance to win the Cup with the Tkachuk brothers and Barkov coming back down in Florida. So, leading up to the draft, there was some things that they did. I think sometimes we build up these tentpole events like the draft as this is going to be this monumental shift in organizational philosophy, and they're going to chart the course for the next decade at these tentpole events. But the fact of the matter is, there's been some big trades around the NHL. I don't look at really any of them and say, should the Flyers have made that deal where they are right now? But, the concern for people is they go, well, are the Flyers a destination? Because it looks like players in the NHL for the first time are going a la NBA, diet NBA, and flexing their muscle on where they want to play. And this new NHL that begins on July 1st, where the excuse of no cap space is gone. So how this plays out, we'll see. I think people wanted to see more trade action, and, the Flyers trade back. That's always boring when a team trades back instead of moving up. So, I let the experts expert on the draft. I don't have eyes on these players, and we'll see what, they turn into. Hopefully you get it right. A lot of times the experts will say, oh my God, I can't believe this team drafted that player, like David Pastrnak the year he was taken for Boston. That worked out pretty good.
Yeah, just a little bit. Jason Myrtetus from the Flyers Radio Network joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. You mentioned about all those trades, and what I think is interesting is now the Flyers are attached to a new rumor, that being the potential of them being interested in Werenski. Is that someone that makes sense to you? Is he someone who you look at and you say, if they were to get him, that makes sense?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the reigning Norris Cup winner. I mean, he is a one-man wrecking ball for Milan. He can do it all. He's not the greatest defender, but he's a very competent defender. But he just drives offense. His elite skating, vision, playmaking ability. He is as cool as a cucumber on the ice, like so calm, and that's good. That's good for as a defenseman ages too. I think is that the way that they're so calm out there. They know how to maximize their tank of energy. They use it when it's makes most sense. They don't waste energy, so they can play more minutes. The rumor is the Flyers are very interested. One of the first teams mentioned, along with Carolina and I believe Dallas. I mean, what do you got to do to get him is the question. But for me, like Josh, there's no player that's off limits. I don't want to trade Martone, obviously, and that would be part of the ask for sure. But I would try and steer that away from him, and if I could, that's a deal that I absolutely want to make. But he's a franchise-altering player. In this notion we've heard for years, the Flyers are doing this whole rebuild wrong. You got to tank. You got to get top picks. Even though Werenski was a top 5 pick, all of a sudden you see all these big-time players, difference makers being moved all around the NHL. And that's kind of always been the case, but even more so now when you see a Brady Tkachuk move. Dylan Larkin's requested a trade out of Detroit. They say you can never get a 1C or your 1D via trade. Well, Quinn Hughes was traded earlier this season, and he certainly is a 1D. So there's going to be movement around the NHL. You don't have to tank to get it. But some people say, well, you need to tank to get it so you can get the prospects to make the deal. Well, I think the Flyers have the organizational equity or currency to make that deal. But does Columbus, there's a GM on the other side. Does Columbus want to trade him in division? The preference, of course, would be no. You're going to have to pay a tax for that, but that's something I'd be willing to pay. I'd be willing to pay that tax.
You just mentioned about the other organizations. I think that's a very important point you just made, because I've had this conversation numerous times with people that, like, we can talk about what we think of player X or player Y, but the other organization doesn't value him as much as you do. Like, we see this all the time in many sports, baseball, hockey, where it's like you have all these, here are our best prospects. Well, another organization doesn't like your prospect. It doesn't matter who you have. It matters what they think of your guy, right?
Well, yeah, and it's a great point, because I've gotten Twitter messages up and down saying, if they don't get Werenski, I'm out. Fire Danny, fire Jonesy, shoot him into the sun. And I go, well, there's a GM on the other side, and like if they say he gets traded to Team X, and this is the package, they go, well, the Flyers must not have wanted to give up this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and they make this assumption. Well, they maybe offered those guys, but Columbus goes, well, we're not building in that direction. We'd rather have players with this skill set. So there is a GM on the other side that says, kind of determines this. We live in the bubble of Flyers and hyper focused on it and say, oh, shiny toy, we can go get that. And we have to offer this to get it. And maybe we can not offer that. And then it goes somewhere else and people go, oh, they must, So you got to be cognizant of the fact it takes two to tango, and the other GM's got to, want to do the deal with you from a number of standpoints for them. And the standpoints are this: the fit and where they're trying to go, the fiscal fit for them both now, 3 years and 5 years from now, and then the other fit is a cultural fit for them. Does it fit into the culture of what they want to do? You has to check all those boxes to make a deal and get a deal done. That's what a GM's job is to make sure those three areas of the organization, from a talent standpoint, a fiscal standpoint and cap, and from a cultural standpoint, all fit together. Because if they don't all fit together, you're going nowhere. You cannot mess up in this NHL. And the one thing about right now, with all this player movement and cap space available, this is when teams can really make a big mistake. You get a little crazy. You got a bunch of dough in your pocket all of a sudden, and you want to go out and just spend it like crazy. And then you spend it, and you spend it on something, and you get a guy that helps you, but maybe he's not the right guy, and the right guy becomes available in 10 months, but because you spent it on a kind of right guy before, you're not in on the absolute right guy now because you spent all your dough on a guy rushing to sign someone else. So I think you got to be patient and prudent here. And I know Flyer fans don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it, but it's the reality of the situation. Do not make the mistake and tie yourself with a 6-year noose around your neck by making a bad deal with somebody.
And I think it also goes to the draft as well, right? Because I think a lot of people were anticipating, oh, they're going to draft a center. Oh, they're going to draft a center. Well, no, they drafted 2 defensemen, 2 goalies, and everyone's like, well, where's the center? And it's like, well, you don't have to draft the center because you need the center to be here now, not who's going to be here 5 years from now. I think people forget that about the draft with hockey, is that like I always said, Jason, hockey and baseball are very similar, right? Where it's big like time. These guys, you're drafting them for years down the road. You're not drafting them for today.
They're kids, like out of high school, right, Josh? Like we see the draft in the NFL and we go, look, they come in right away. Well, when you're drafting in the NFL, you're like 21, 22 years old. Right. You're many years out, and you've lived on your own and all of that stuff at college. In the NBA, you've probably at least played a year of college, and before you enter the NBA draft. These guys like Sokolovsky, even though he's gigantic at 6'8", 240, he's 17 years old. Like 17 years old. I mean, think about it. He was born in 2008. Like I remember, I have underwear older than 2008. Like that's crazy. And to think that the projection of where these guys will be as men at 23, 25 years old it's a projection, and it's not an exact science for sure. And if you, like people were saying, well, they got these D and they need a power play quarterback. Did you think you were going to get a power play quarterback at the 21st pick and he was going to come in this year and be your PPQB1? No. You have to keep things in perspective. It takes time for very rare players get drafted, jump into the NHL, and have immediate success. I'm talking the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, like McDavid, Crosby, those guys have an immediate impact like that.
Well,
Not
even
a guy
like
at 21.
I was saying, even a guy like Bedard, when he came up, he got basically beat the snot out of him for the first year in the NHL.
First 2 years, by the way. First 2 years,
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like he was just banged around like a pinata basically for 2 years. He didn't really get to really show what he could do half the time.
Yeah, you see flashes of it, right? Like you see the skill set and the shot and the release and all that. You see flashes of it, but it's tough. You come into this league and all of a sudden you don't have any time, you don't have any space, you don't have much protection because you're on a team that tanked to get you, and you're kind of, obviously on the marquee, and the other team's keying on you, and it's a tough existence for these guys that are used to dominating wherever they go to all of a sudden going, wow, this is a lot harder here. It's why I'm so impressed with Macklin Celebrini, because at his age, he's been really mature about it and not tried to overextend himself, but just go out and control what he can control, be really good and diligent and smart. And that's why I look at that guy and I go, oh, man, this guy's going to be a stud for years and years and years because he's way ahead of the game from a maturity on and off the ice standpoint.
Absolutely. Couple more for Jason Myrtetus for the Flyers Radio Network, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, you hear Jason throughout the season when the Flyers Radio Network is on our airways. Jason, when you think about this offseason as well, I mentioned about all the people who keep clamoring for more centermen, right? They're clamoring for better defensemen. Well, Werenski is just one name. Is there someone else out there, whether it's a free agent or a potential trade guy, that you're looking at and you're saying, man, if the Flyers got him, it changes the whole conversation?
Well, I mean, we don't know because there's a few names out there, like Darnell Nurse obviously is connected to the Flyers. His cap hit is not only big, but scary to even consider taking on. Obviously, Edmonton would have to retain money. Would he help make them better? Yeah, but I don't want to pay the full freight for the rest of that contract for Darnell Nurse. And apparently he wants to come here. But you still have to figure out how does that work with Nurse coming here? Who goes out if he decides to come to the Flyers, because you only have, 6 defensemen that can dress for a game. What's the future of Ristolainen heading into the last year of his deal? A lot of people are disappointed that he's still here following the draft. But when I look at the free agent market, frankly, I'm just going to put this really frankly, Josh, the free agent market sucks this offseason. It's some of these agents. If I was a player, I would fire my agent, and if I was a pending free agent this offseason, because they all extended, not knowing the economics, and they could have been like the best guy of a weak free agent class and gotten overpaid to a huge degree. But they signed these contracts, and I think it's to their detriment. So I would be like, dude, what are you doing? You should have forecasted this and got me a couple more sheets for, a 6-year deal. But as far as is there anybody else out there? Well, when Dylan Larkin's name is out there because he requested a trade out of Detroit, where he's from, and as the captain after a decade, when Nurse's name gets out there that he's requested a trade, and other players, where we see these 3 or 4 players that we know of, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath the water, there's 20 other players that ask for a trade that we don't know of, and the GMs do. And it doesn't benefit them for them that to get out. So you try and keep that under wraps when a guy's requested for a trade, because that's the way you can make the best deal. It takes a lot of pressure and eyeballs off the situation, and you can operate a little bit better with good, leverage in any kind of deal. When it gets out public, it changes that. So where there's 3 or 4 guys that we know of, including now Werenski, who are the guys that we don't know of? That's the GM's job to know that. I'd love to know that list.
I think you, me, and every other Flyers fan would love to know that list. He's Jason Myrtetus joining us here on Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock here on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, Flyers Daily. You can catch that as well all off season for more Flyers coverage. Jason, appreciate you jumping on. Great stuff today.
Yeah, we'll have Bill tomorrow on Flyers Daily, and we'll be covering development camp all week. And I can't wait to stand next to Sokolovsky on skates. That's going to make me feel, that's going to be very emasculating. I've dealt with Pronger, Sam Moran, and now a 6'8" Sokolovsky.
And he has room to grow.
I'm going to be like an Oompa Loompa. I'm going to be standing on my crate that I stand on when they come in. They walk in and they go, "You're standing on a crate." And I go, "You're on skates." Like I'm not only 5'7" and they're 6'7".
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like, look at you, look at me.
Yeah. What, all men are created equal? Yeah, I don't think so.
Nah, not in this case.
Yeah.
Jason, take care, my man.
Enjoy, Josh. Thanks.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. We are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Hey, coming up on the other side, we'll have my conversation with WWE superstar Royce Keys. He will join me as WWE is coming to Atlantic City tomorrow for back-to-back showing of SmackDown and Raw. Of course, you want to be in the house for a big night tomorrow, Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN is being brought to you by Cross County Connection. 6 new NJSJ Connect shuttles providing fare free transportation across southern New Jersey, connecting the jobs, colleges, healthcare, shopping, government services, and NJ Transit hubs, all at no cost to riders. For details, call 856-229-7571 or visit driveless.com. My conversation with Royce Keys, WWE superstar, coming up next on 97.3 ESPN.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, baseball's fiercest rivalry is back.
Third home run of the inning. 5-0 Yankees. Ben Rice.
The AL East leading New York Yankees are in Boston to face the Red Sox.
Driven to right field, looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Wilson Contreras.
The Yankees at the Red Sox. Coverage begins today at 6:30 Eastern.
Listen to Sunday Night Baseball tonight on 97.3 ESPN.
From summer parties to beach days, the dinners at your favorite BYOB restaurant. The one stop where I go for every occasion is Boulevard Super Liquors. Located on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, just minutes from Garden State Parkway X25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors as you travel to your destination. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is the best at the Jersey Shore. Visit them on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about upcoming tasting events. And don't miss your chance to win a signed Devontae Smith helmet and special prize packages when Hang with Hennig broadcasts live on Friday, July 3rd at Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. The best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Honey, did you invite the minions over?
Well, you know how we talked about getting Wi-Fi from Xfinity?
Yeah.
I ordered it this morning, was online in minutes, then they showed up.
So they just came over to use the Wi-Fi?
They even brought their own devices and spell book.
You didn't give them the new Wi-Fi password, right?
No.
That's good.
I gave them our old one. Because Xfinity lets us keep the same network name and password so devices connect instantly.
What do they want Wi-Fi for anyways?
Better not to know. Plausible deniability.
Get streaming or scheming instantly with same-day Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Plus, lock in one price for the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi for 5 years. Guaranteed. And see Minions and Monsters only in theaters. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Ventnor Social is Down Beach's go-to place for game days. No shower happy hours, beach nights, live music, great food, cold drinks, and being social. From cheering on Phillies baseball team, international soccer matches, and other sports action on their 20 big screen TVs, to enjoying a cold beverage on the roof deck or playing an arcade game, you're sure to have fun and grab a pie to go at their sister restaurant next door, Santucci's Original Square Pizza. Get to Ventnor Social on Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attila's Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attila's Gyms today.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. And the WWE is, yes, they are returning to Atlantic City this Monday. Boardwalk Hall, the historic Boardwalk Hall. And a man who knows a little something about wrestling history himself is the one and only WWE superstar Royce Keys. He joins me right now on 97.3 ESPN. Royce, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And, I know you're a big history of wrestling guy. You're someone who's been a part of your entire childhood and your life. So for you, when I say, hey, you're coming to the place where Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage went head-to-head at WrestleMania, Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City. What does that history mean to a history aficionado like yourself?
That's WrestleMania 5, baby. The mega powers explode. It just doesn't seem real to me sometimes. Just growing up watching those VHS tapes and watching all those throwback big time matches, like, to be in the same place as Hall of Famers, people you grew up idolizing, watching, like it doesn't seem real. It almost feels like, sometimes me personally, I imagine that they're there watching, so it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And we're so excited to have WWE back in Atlantic City for the first time in years. And obviously you're on the SmackDown brand. I've always wanted to ask someone like yourself, because again, you grew up, you've seen the whole history of the game, but you remember when it used to be the brand wars, right? Back in the years ago when it was SmackDown versus Raw. So SmackDown now, a little different, right? So if Royce Keys was in the brand wars, 20 years ago, do you think you still would have fit in on SmackDown, or do you think you would have been a Raw guy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've never been asked that before. I think I would have been on that blue brand, because you had a lot of up and comers on that brand who made a name for themselves, and it was that good old competition. One show tried to outdo the other. So me personally, I think I would fit on that blue brand, the current brand I'm on right now.
Absolutely. And of course, for those who don't know, SmackDown will be taping in Atlantic City on Monday, as well as a live edition of Raw at Boardwalk Hall. Monday night tickets are still available. Royce, when you think about this year, it's been a whirlwind for you. You just mentioned about competition. You've been it seems like involved with a little bit of everything this year.
Lot.
Right, exactly. So, is there times that you kind of look back on the last 6 months and you're like, because I know you've talked about in other interviews, hey, it's the dream come true. You're so excited to be here. But there's also a part that looks around and it's like, man, they're letting me get a little bit of everything. here in WWE.
Yeah, man. It's every week is it's rewarding for me. You know what I'm saying? I figured, we're past the dream part. I just hit 6 months here, right? So we're past the dream now. It's time to just keep working even 10 times harder, not just put the same effort and things in that got me here. It's putting everything into overdrive. It's just, delivering every time I'm on that screen. So it's I don't know, man. It is every week is different for me. I got goosebumps right now talking about it because, it took me a long time to get here, so it's, anytime I'm on that screen, man, I got to put my stamp down. So it's, just got to put 10 toes down and just go.
You mentioned about, being on screen. And I think the cool thing for you is you've been around either directly with or indirectly with people you've worked with in the past already this year, right? I know you were on the West Coast scene with Jacob Fatu years ago. I know that you used to work with Cody Rhodes. He's a big part of your life. Like for you, I know being in WWE is so exciting, but explain to the fans out there, like, what does it mean to be in that organization, but with people that you have such close connections with?
And it's, you go to work with your partners, you go to work to make things better. Like I'm living my dream and I'm doing it with people I can compete with, and it's no egos or anything like that. It's good, healthy competition trying to outdo each other. But the people that helped you get there and it was on the grind with you, like, and you're at the same spot, like that's rewarding. Like how often does that happen? You'd have to work with your mentor every week, you struggle up and down the road with your partner, driving 150, 200 miles, sometimes 400 miles to a show, then turning right back like Jacob and I did, and, having to work a 6 a.m. job, so it's great, man. It just lets you know that you surrounded yourself and, you have a good circle of people.
Talk with WWE superstar Royce joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Again, WWE returns to Boardwalk Hall Monday night for both SmackDown and Raw. You mentioned about your partner, right? One of my favorite stories I've heard you tell is the story of you guys driving back through the snowstorm. And just like the story, it's like the joke was that like Royce Key drives through snowstorm with no chains on tires.
Yeah, man, dude, like that was my first time ever driving through. Like I've driven through rainstorms, okay, cool, but a snowstorm, man, like no chains, probably less than 5 miles an hour. It almost felt like I was in like maybe a scene out of Star Wars, right? Because you got all the snow just coming at you, and it was trippy. We made it out though, but it's one of those things, man. You got to sacrifice to get to the promised land and get to your goals, man. But it's so many road stories, man. Like that's just one of them. I actually forgot I told that story.
Well, I think it's one of these people love about your stories because you're someone who worked your tail off to get to where you are now, right? It's one of those deals where it's like people, like, for example, there's so many people out there, myself included, where it's like you don't come from opportunity or privilege or things that like give you the platform necessarily, right? So when someone like yourself grinds and gets to where you are now, it's motivational, it's inspirational, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's really awesome to see you now having the opportunity in the WWE to really show the world on a new level what you can do.
Yeah, man, I tell anybody, man, I came from the streets, I came from the concrete jungle, man. Sometimes it was 7, 8 of us in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, so it's, I've been working hard since I was 5 years old, man. I remember my grandfather having, cement blocks in the backyard, whenever you act up, you got to move them from one end of the yard to the other, so it was bound to happen in due time, So it's just, I think those days of struggle, helped define who I am right now.
It's been a year of a lot of craziness for you. So, when you look back on, the Royal Rumble debut, when you look back on winning the Andre the Giant tournament, right? When you look back on, you and Cody Rhodes being in that ring, staring at each other like you're ready to throw down like a bunch of wild animals, right? Like all the moments that have happened for you this year, like, are you even able to fully is there do you say, hey, I can enjoy this, or is there a part of you that says, you know what, it's more motivation to get even bigger and better?
It's more motivation, but I'm living in the moment as well. I think I have to do that. I think when I came out and, told Cody I want to be the one that challenges him for the WWE championship, I don't think anyone expected that. It's just taking advantage of any and every opportunity. It's about making moments, and what can I do to elevate myself even higher.
Couple more for Royce Keys before we let him go here on 97.3 ESPN. You mentioned about Cody. I think what's really cool about the people who are in WWE now is that a lot of you guys, yourself, Cody, and others, you guys grew up watching and consuming and, wanting to do what you're doing now. And I think that it's a cool thing where the fans like myself, we get to see you guys, fulfilling your dreams, your aspirations. And it gets us excited because, when we see the energy, like I was reading Natty Neidhart's book recently, and she talks about how, achieving her dream. And I think that when you guys achieve your dream, that energy, it amps the fans up even more. Like, do you feel that energy at times where the fans are like, yeah, that guy deserves to be here. He earned it. We're excited he's here.
I do love that. And I do feel it whenever I'm out there. Just to touch what you just said about, I grew up watching wrestling. It was on before I was even thought of, my grandparents took my dad to shows all the time, every other week at the Cow Palace. So by the time I came along, it was already on, that's all I ever heard about. That's all I ever wanted to do. So I think I can talk about wrestling all day and all my memories. And it's just, I think, sometimes when I talk about these memories and things that I remember, things that touched me, and it relates to other fans have that same memory, you kind of you almost just feel like your friends, I remember when this happened, I remember when I could tell you what I was doing when Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window. I can tell you exactly what I was doing that day. I can tell you what I was doing when I watched Stone Cold defeat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14. I could tell you all these things. So I think when you can connect with the fans like that, it just they know you're invested and you're serious. I tell anybody that gets into this business, you have to be obsessed with it. And that's just anything in life you want to be great at. Not good, but great. I tell my children that if this is something you want to do, you got to be obsessed with it. You got to work harder than the next person beside you, because when you're not working, they're possibly working. So it's you got to be obsessed with it, and then not a bad obsession, but a good, healthy obsession, wanting to progress and get better.
All right, before I let you go, I want to save the best for last, because you talk about how you know the history of the game. I know you're someone who was a big Undertaker guy when you were younger. For you, if you could have a match versus anybody, past, present, doesn't matter, what match would it be and who would it be against? Your dream match.
It will be against Taker. I think that the 1998 Taker, or that 99 Ministry of Darkness Undertaker.
Love it.
Yeah,
would that be a straight match, or would you want some special stipulations for that?
Oh man, we gotta have a 3-piece. We have a straight match first, and then it's got to end with the it's got to the third and final match. The rubber match has got to be a Hell in a Cell.
I like the way you're thinking there.
That's got to be the culmination of everything. That's got to be the nail in the coffin.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes. No pun intended, but that has to be it.
Awesome. Well, listen, Royce Keys, he's a part of SmackDown, of course, SmackDown and Raw. Monday night, Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Tickets are still available. And of course, if you want to see somebody who's going to put on a show, one of those guys is the one and only WWE superstar, Royce Keys. Royce, I appreciate you jumping on. Again, your story is so inspirational.
I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Great stuff there from Royce Keys. Yeah, we recorded that a couple days ago. Obviously, they're doing a lot of traveling right now for WWE. They were in Riyadh yesterday, for goodness sake, for Night of Champions. By the way, before we get back to tech sport at 609-403-0973, I gotta say, Night of Champions, I appreciated it. I loved how they made moments, but I really feel like this whole, hey, let's have this event in Saudi Arabia, it's jumped the shark at this point. Like, that crowd is really not that good. Let's be realistic, okay? That crowd was not that good last night. It was just not. You saw them trying to amp up the crowd at times, and I don't know if those fans weren't sure what was going on, but I'll say what needs to be said, okay? The fact that they're having WrestleMania next year in Saudi Arabia is just so bad to me. Like, the fans at the Royal Rumble were way better, and I really felt bad for the performers because you saw a match with Io Sky and Liv Morgan. You saw the match between Cody and not going to go because their fans were invested for that one, but I'll go the Trick Williams and Ricky Saints match. Like, these matches were actually really good matches and really entertaining. And it's like the fans were like completely disinterested. It was almost like going to a boxing event and like everyone's there only for the main event. Like, I did not enjoy that. I felt so bad. It was like, there's nothing worse than being an artist and performing for someone who doesn't know what you're doing. All right. I said my piece. Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Hey, hanging with Hennig. We'll get back to tech sport on the other side, 609-403-0973. Don't forget, hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Boulevard Super Liquors, the best selection of beer, wine, spirits at the Jersey Shore. I will be back there this Friday for a special edition of Hanging with Hennig, 2 to 5 p.m. Thanks to Mike Gill and the Sports Bash for letting us do a merger of shows this Friday. We'll be giving away a signed Devontae Smith helmet, along with other great prizes like prize baskets from Salento Tequila, Douglas Candies, Holiday Coffee, and of course the one and only Boulevard Super Liquors, right on the Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. The best selection of beer, wine, and spirits at the Jersey Shore. So come on down, hang out with us, hanging with Hennig this Friday at Boulevard Super Liquors. For more information, give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook about all upcoming tasting events and so much more. Again, you can win a Devontae Smith signed helmet, but you got to come down and sign up to win this Friday at Boulevard Super Liquors. Also, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More perks, more ways to play, more ways to level up your experience, only with Caesars Sportsbook. All the games you love all year long earns you endless rewards like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. So download the app, use my promo code radio DYW, then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. 10 chances to boost your play just for stepping on the field with Caesars Sportsbook. Open to new users in New Jersey at 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Private boost tickets expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, coming up, final segment of the special edition of Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Margate Beachstock on 97.3 ESPN.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted Best Wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime Rib Nights Friday and Saturdays, Rib Nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
Summer's here and the heat is on. Attila's Gyms has got you covered with top-tier equipment and their legendary old-school vibe. Whether you're hitting the beach or hitting a personal record, they've got everything you need to stay strong while on vacation. And best of all, no contracts, just fitness on your terms. With 5 convenient locations, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Ocean City, Egg Harbor, and Galloway, your next workout is minutes away. Join Attila's Gyms today.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 26th through July 6th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Town Square Media has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible offers from some fantastic local businesses. Get this great deal right now. Get one $50 gift card for just $25 for Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant, a Wildwood dining tradition since 1956. Your entire family will be swept away to the tropics at this affordable family dining destination. A $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal right now at seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com. For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com. Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Blatt Nissan.
Are you trapped in your old car? Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity can get you out. Get up to $4,000 over Kelly Blue Book Fair Trade Value for your old car. Come see us today at Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Matt Blatt Nissan.
Next trade toward the purchase of select models expires with ends.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win.
Don't guess. Don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit GregAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And we do want to give a couple shout-outs before we get out of here. First of all, thanks to Alice Berardis for doing everything he's doing back in the 97.3 ESPN studio. That's number one. Number two, we want to thank Margate, the city, the Margate Business Association for allowing us to be down here for Margate Beachstock. Also, want to do a shout out to the Margate Dairy Bar. They are supplying us food here on site. Myself, 97.3 ESPN, and Cat Country. And what to me, what's great about the Margate Dairy Bar is, well, not just because it's a short walk from right here where I'm at the beach, but the fact that they are more than a dairy bar, okay? It's such a cool little spot. I know it's been there since 1952, but it's the fact that, you know, they have these amazing burgers. They're so delicious. And, you know, you hear dairy bar, you're not thinking of the other food they have, but the burgers are absolutely incredible. So if you're in the Margate area and you're coming off the beach, you know, and you're like, look, man, I forgot to eat earlier today. The Margate Beach Bar, Margate Dairy Bar is just an amazing spot to stop by. Again, I'm a big fan of their burgers since 1962. We thank them for taking care of us here. Myself, 97.3 ESPN, as well as Cat Country Sister Station 107.3. All right, get back to the text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Ray in the HT chimes in. Ray says, some of you guys said earlier that really resonated with me. Players don't stay with teams anymore. Like you said, when they win a championship a couple years later, they're wearing another jersey to win another championship with another team. I miss the days where you had a team and you tried to do your best with that team. And of course you added, but you know, if you ever got rid of a player, like let's say a Maxey for the Sixers, that would be the end of what you think of when it comes to that Philly sports team. He's my number one in Philadelphia. Players like him, I like to watch him every single day. That's from Ray in the HT. You know, and it's something we talk with Mirin Fader about, the fact that these players and their constant movement, their constant bouncing around, it does get exasperating. There is an element to it where it's like you want to see your guy play on your team for years to come. So, to me, I look at it as it's frustrating, but it's a part of life, right? It's a part of the game. And so we kind of just have to adapt and deal with it and get used to it. You know, there's nothing really you can do about it. It's just something that happens. It comes with the territory. So I just kind of look at it as Rainy HC, you know, we don't like it, but we just got to suck it up and put up with it. More text coming in here as we have the final segment of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, 609-403-0973. Dan EHT chimed in a little bit earlier. He says, Josh, the lack of homework on the tablet for the Phillies hitters. Players playing every day is not easy. Come on, Josh, go a little easier on them. Well, I can't, because to me, it's not about if you had a bad day at the office. I think that's the part that people are confusing. There's an in-between of saying they stink, which I'm not saying, and you got to give them a slack. I can't give them too much slack because you're being paid millions of dollars to play a game that I can't even do. I can't hit a baseball. I stunk at it in high school and college. So I know it's hard to do, but don't swing flailingly at a pitch way outside the zone, Trey Turner. That's what I'm talking about. So Dan EHC, I understand where you're coming from. You're trying to put on the perspective that it's hard. It's not easy, okay? But you know what? I'm not saying it has to be easy. I'm just saying you got to put out a better effort. You know, I've never in my life looked at Chase Utley or Jimmy Rollins or Ryan Howard as not trying. Those guys struck out plenty of times. They were not perfect every day, but we knew they were trying. We knew they were putting the effort in. We knew that they were doing the best that they could. And I think, to me, that's where the differentiation is. The differentiation is You have one guy in Trey Turner who looks like he doesn't care half the time. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm referring to. That kind of just is, it's maddening. And I understand, people are like, you're being too hard on this team. But you know what? We should be hard on them. You know why? Because this is a team that has gone for years since getting back to the World Series. They got there, and then they got worse in the postseason every year. And until this team starts treating us, the fans, like we're not just, spectators. I mentioned about WWE earlier. Those players will feed off of, those athletes will feed off of the crowd. They almost let the crowd kind of direct and dictate what they do. I look at baseball as a sport where the fans are showing up. The fans are there. The fans are in the building. They're trying to support you, and you're not giving them an honest effort. So why should we be surprised if they sit there and they get mad or they boo you, they get frustrated? Like I heard what Bryce Huff had to say on that podcast. I forget what podcast it was. Nick Earnshaw played the audio on last week's Knicks Nuggets on the Sports Bash show on 97.3 ESPN, where he's complaining about the Philly fans. And I'm like, well, dude, the Philly fans just want you to earn your stripes. Jason Kelce said it numerous times. Philly fans just want you to care somewhere as much as they do. So you can't be an organization, right, and say, we care, and then your players go out there and look like they're disinterested. That's all I'm saying. And listen, maybe I am a broken record at this point, but that's how I feel about it. All right, a couple things to get at before we get out of here. 609-403-0973. Before we get out of here, a couple things. So we got the free agency opening for the Flyers and the Sixers this week in the NBA and the NHL. And I'm going to be very curious to find out what exactly happens in free agency, because you heard Jason Myrtetus mention it's not a great free agent class. Well, it's not a great free agent class in the NBA either. So my hope, my concern, whatever you want to call it, is you got to make sure that you got to hope and pray that the Sixers and Flyers are not one of those teams that overpays for somebody again. We saw that happen with Chuck Fletcher with the Flyers. We saw it happen in the past with Daryl Morey when it came to Paul George. I understand both these teams have needs, but I am genuinely concerned that you're going to be in a situation where you're going to get desperate, you're going to overspend, and then you're going to be stuck with somebody again. And frankly, if 2020 is when they go by, 2020 vision says you never should have signed Trey Turner. I'm just being realistic. Yeah, I don't know if you would have signed somebody else said Trey Turner, but I think as of right now, you could make the argument that Trey Turner was I hate to even say it. He's a waste of money. All right. Thanks to Mirin Fader for joining the show. Thanks to Alex Berardis back in the studio. Thanks to Jason Myrtetus for joining us. Thanks to Royce Keys. He'll be in Atlantic City for WWE at Boardwalk Hall tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody, from the Margate Business Association for having myself, 97.3 ESPN, and Cat Country on site here at this year's Margate Beachstock. Thanks to all of you who tuned in to 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Again, I will be back with Mike Gill in the Sports Bash Monday through Thursday, and then Hanging with Hennig special broadcast on Friday. It's all coming up this week. 97.3 ESPN.